Okay, what I'm going to do with this demonstration is, this is terracotta, much like that's in a fireplace. Every masonry fireplace, they're in 2-foot sections. When we find cracks or gaps, it's a lot of people look at the cracks and whatnot. When we find it, we're like, well, it's just small cracks. It's not the cracks themselves when the chimney's cold that's the problem. It's when you warm the flue up, the cracks expand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to crack this by putting a lot of fuel in here and getting this too hot too fast. It'll snap, and what I want to document is how large the crack opens up. Much like when you have a fireplace burning, the cracks open up. That's the dangerous part. And you'll see after this cools down how tight it'll get. So it'll replicate what we see, just small cracks. So that a lot of people think that, but it's actually when it's burning is the problem. So let me do the demonstration. Alright, just cracked. Let's see where it cracked. It cracked along the front and also the back. You can hear it cracking. And the actual cap's holding it much together. But what you're going to see is, I'm going to take this off the tripod. Now that the fireplace is out, cracks will actually go down to tight again after it cools off. This is what we find in chimney fires. What it does is it actually cracks in a vertical pattern like this. Now that as it cools, the cracks will be so tight on the inside you'll hardly be able to see anything. If this cap wasn't holding the top secure, it would allow it to expand much more because it's being held together up top. But you'll see as the hairline where it's being held together, so you see as it gets real wide down below. And that was just a few seconds of it warming. If this was inside a fireplace and the structure and the airspace is inside the structure, this can actually expand. Terracotta can expand almost to an inch in circumference, so that's the danger. So what we're going to do is see if this is too hot. No, it's not that hot. Watch it. Okay. Now, as you can see, this crack is almost undetectable. It just looks like a hairline crack. Now that it's cooling, you can see all the way down. It's actually getting tight now. So it's tightening up. But this flue cracked multiple areas, just like a chimney fire cracks it. You can see here, it's like a hairline crack all the way down to the bottom, but it's all the way through. This is actually in 2 sections, which I should really be able to pull it apart. Matt, why don't you grab this? Just hold it on. This is what happens. This is the problem with cracked terracotta. This is what's inside the chimney structure after a chimney fire. So after we come out and document that you had cracks in there, what you wouldn't want to occur is this fall apart after after the fireplace warms, it keeps expanding every time after we found cracks, and it goes unrepaired. This terracotta will expand and it can fall apart. The heat gets into the chimney structure, and the structure is what produces enough heat to have ignition through flames. So when we find what appears to be, from our documentation when we're at your home, you have some cracks in your flue. It seems to be minor, but what's actually going on in that structure when you're relying on this flue all the way down your fireplace inside that masonry chimney to contain your heat, your flames, your combustion, when you warm this flue up, it expands. Well, if it's cracked, there's nothing to stop this thing from falling apart or causing a catastrophe from inside the structure. That's pretty much a demonstration on when we find cracks. It's not just a little crack that you can cover up with some sealant or something. The system is ruined. And when there's gaps, it's the same thing. You can't have gaps inside the flue, because that's how the flames, the heat gets through the gaps and it gets into the structure. Pyrolysis is the event of the structure gets so warm, whether it's cinder block or brick, that it sends heat into the combustibles of the house. And through pyrolysis is the ignition through temperature, not flames. Flames aren't necessarily going to get in the house. Flames aren't going to get through here and get into the wood of the house. The flames are just going to get inside the chimney structure, and the structure is going to get too hot. The flames are supposed to stay inside this flue, not get outside. So when that flue's cracked or there's gapped, the flue's no good anymore. It needs to be replaced, taken out, or a new system put in.